The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour, where we come together at the appointed time each day.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So we've got the S&P off 5, the Dow's up 74, Nasdaq's down 111, and the Russell's $1.68. What is that? Less than 1/10%. So what do we have? A lot of people scratching their heads. What I dislike is what is pretty light volume. So we may have a big move before the end of the day. I thought it might be shorts covering, but it looks like maybe it's going to go the other way now. But, you know, they say light volume, you don't want to be short. It's generally the correct way to be, but, you know, maybe no one's willing to buy going into this weekend. We shall see. What else do we have here? Wanted to go through a lot of the winners and losers, and we'll do that because we do have some big movers out there. Just the stocks that continue to fade off the highs. Walt Disney from yesterday, 107.45. It's the last tick, and I think that is telling you something about where the market's headed over the next week. But like I said, it may be one of these very low volume retraces into next Friday. That would set up a positive in the market. We may just find people coming back in, but certainly the big guys are not acting the way that most people would think that they should. So we'll see. No real good pin number for today. I'll be kind of surprised if Tesla doesn't go to 200 by the end of the day. There is a lot of short sellers in that, and a lot of them for today. So we'll see. That's probably a good barometer for whether or not we're continuing to see people pile on in these stocks. If it stays down here, can't get anybody to squeeze before the end of the day. Telling you something else. Maybe we're a little off. Anyway, 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. Let's do a little bit of history, and then we'll move on.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
The communication satellite Iridium 33 and Cosmos 2251 collide in orbit, destroying both. This is the first major collision of satellites in Earth orbit, but of course not the last. And there's always there's a theory, and I can't remember the name of the guy that did it, but basically he's going to say you basically reach a critical mass of these hitting each other, and then pretty soon, like pool balls, they'll just wipe everything out, and we won't have any way to get either off the Earth or a satellite in orbit that doesn't hit something. And it's always a thought. Of course, now, I think it was in 2000 that everybody got together in the world and said, okay, the one thing we got to do is make sure these satellites, when they don't communicate for about 6 months or a year, will automatically re-enter the Earth and burn up out there in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And of course, we had that Malaysian, 230? 270? I think it was 270 that disappeared out there, and there is nothing. There aren't a lot of people out there. There are not a lot of submarines or anything sniffing around. There's no SOSUS. Stuff that, they talk about the Bermuda Triangle. Stuff out there, when it disappears, there's never a whisper. I think we've gotten 2 small pieces of the plane back from out there, and it took almost a year to get over to Madagascar. And I'm trying to remember. Oh, I remember the one that they just found showed that the flap was down. So the guy that was the pilot, did he just fly it out there and park it and get out of it? Why everybody else had expired already? Well, certainly it looked like it didn't hit at a high rate of speed, and it did it with the flaps down. So that mystery, till we find it, will continue to linger. Probably just like JFK and the rest. Good day to give me a call, because it is looking rather quiet here on the Western Front, but we shall see. Okay. Well, why don't we just do that? We'll go to the charts, because we've got a lot to get through today, and I look forward to it. Ask me anything. Good day to do that. And you can get to me at path@tfnn.com. Okay, movers and shakers. And what is the biggest mover and shaker today? We'll start off on the downside, and that is Mr. Lyft. We'll give it a little bit of what it deserves out here. And that is the gap back down to the previous lows with almost 10 times the volume of December 28th. That was 966. Got to 1836 before it rolled over. And that's it. Okay. Anyway, huge volume. It's really a tale of two cities, right? Uber, everybody's pumping Uber. Lyft's going to go away. I have a feeling that Uber's going to wish that Lyft hangs on, much like Microsoft. Microsoft wanted Apple to be there so they wouldn't get broken up into some kind of antitrust issue. Uber needs Lyft, although you wouldn't think much. And, of course, down on just a little bit of volume, but you're still north of the 3x3 on Uber. I did see a lot of people telling everybody how wildly different Uber was than Lyft, and not quite as bad as the blowhards on Disney, on CNBC, or Apple. But, these things are, right now it is very tough to hold these highs as we go in it. Don't know much about fat, other than it's the way that the cool kids spell fat anymore, and it's supposed to mean something that I have no idea of. I think this is some kind of biotech. Let's take a quick look at this one. PHAT. Clinical stage biopharma. Another big loser out here down on big volume, but I doubt if anybody was in that one. We'll go through the rest of them and see if we can't find a few pearls among the swine.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstad's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstad breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And as we get back, take a quick look out here. Yeah, just on the S&P, it looks to me like they're going to try to push this up to about 4,100 for the close today. I still suspect we're down into next week, but this looks to me like we're going to have a little bit of a push. Just because we're flat, that may be late in the day. We may not get anything at all. Again, the volume very poor out here today, and generally you'll get a bounce out of that. But here we are into about 2:20 in the afternoon, and we only have about 6.6 billion shares. So again, that could be a lot of other things going on. The Noog Man checks in from Riverview, Florida. Can you look at FAZ, F-A-Z? Let's see. Financial bear. You know what? You finally got something going on here. I think that's with the TLT. Certainly looks to me like it wants to come back to this 101. We've been talking about this for a few days. There isn't a lot of volume, but it certainly looks like that double gap. You had a gap down and a gap up, and right at 101. That's why I wrote Timing the Trade Charts to do this, so that you could see them layered upon each other. But maybe just a hair under 101, maybe 101.50 or 150 cents. But you've got a fairly decent gap there, and I think that's where the TLT is going. Of course, we've had a little bit of action in the gold, and some of that is on the dollar move. I haven't looked at the dollar here in the last few minutes. Is that what that's gold? Gold 1873. Let's go to Forex real quick and look at the dollar index. This thing's made its lows, and it's with a few pullbacks has really come off that what is it, about a 102.80 to 103.528. And I think that's also telling you a little bit. And, of course, you're seeing that in the price of gold now, too. But TLT and those are, I think, now maybe that is where we find the low next week when this thing gets into 101 in the broad markets. But everything tells me that everybody was getting just a little bit too excited about what was going on in the market. Okay, so we've got that. Anyway, back to FAS. I didn't do enough on that. Let's take a look. I mean, you've broken the previous low. It's about the same volume. Energy's about the same on the way down. But on a bounce, $19. And what are we at now? 16.14. There's a nice gap right in there from about 1850 to 1920 on the FAZ, and yeah, you could see it, but it seems to me like we are rounding a corner. The summation indexes are kind of showing the same thing. I don't show them; they're in the newsletter every day, and I kind of get to that. Let's see what here. Create put call. Okay. Create summation index. Come on. We have something there. Today's 9th inch. Create. Oh. That won't work, will it? I need the other one. Oh, got a call. Thanks for the bell. Dave from Framingham. How you doing?
Fine. How are you doing?
Good.
Good to hear your voice.
Good to hear yours.
Can you tell me about GDX here? Do you think it's hit the bottom low yet? Or I was looking at the last year when it hit 29.17. Is this a head and shoulders? I mean, or should I say, is it a inverted head and shoulders bottom?
I don't think so.
No?
What you have is a big gap higher. That was back on the 4th. Everybody piled into gold. It's gone up. You had some decent volume. You even had some decent volume at the highs, even on the reversal. You had 40 million shares. Now you're kind of coming back. You filled about half that gap in the GDX. Now, the bigger problem, I think, is probably sitting on your hands. Do you have a position now?
No, not yet. Because I was looking at this inverted head. I mean, is this an inverted head and shoulders where the head is last September and October? And
I never was much on head and shoulders.
Really?
No, I'm more on a pattern, on a Wyckoff pattern.
Okay.
And that is that you take the gap higher, right? You look at the volume, that 4 million shares. Yesterday, you came back into that gap on 22 million shares. Today, you got 12 million shares. The problem with gold right now is I think you need that TLT and the dollars to make some kind of tops and bottoms. And that, the whole market just looks like it's setting up for a very long, painful slog into next Friday's close before we probably have the next big move in the market. And it may be Thursday with the big earnings on Thursday from Cisco and AMAT, because we just don't have that much going on. I mean, we've had thrill a minute now for 10 days, and huge winners and losers. That I think is kind of going to go away. We're not going to have a lot. Maybe we've got some numbers next Thursday, next Friday that move some stuff. But I think it's kind of a very quiet on the Western Front thing, at least through Wednesday and maybe even through next Friday. So you would love to see this thing go sideways on very light volume into Friday and then see some kind of change in either the dollar and maybe even the TLT. But I think that's what the market's going to be waiting for next week, is to see whether or not we get any surprises. But my guess is going to be painful Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe the rest of the week too, just because there's not going to be a lot to trade off of. Maybe there'll be some other news coming out, but it's not going to be earnings, and I don't think it's going to be from the Fed. I don't think it's going to be a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. Interesting.
So it may just be one of those things.
You're not a person that looks at the inverted head and shoulders bottoms, then, basically.
Nope. I look at a Wyckoff style pattern, and that is, this looks good, but that doesn't mean that, not going down anymore isn't the same as going up.
Okay.
Okay, and that, everything I'm looking at here says sideways for a handful of days. Now, I could be wrong, but everything says very light volume today, right?
Okay.
We had every opportunity to blow out the bottoms, and we haven't. That doesn't mean we're going to new highs either.
Okay.
But, a lot of times you get these moves, and they're kind of tough to sit through, but the market's got to digest what's gone on in the last 10 days, and we may just have some consolidation. We'll be back in a minute.
Okay, thank you, David.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're just kind of stuck here, very light volume. So, as they say, when one of the things you don't want to be is in light volume markets, because they can take back a lot of your short positions after you've made some money. If you are in a very short time frame, I'd say probably time to check out and wait for the last 30 minutes of the day to see if there is anything else going on. I just don't see that much in the way of them pushing this thing down. Yesterday, I said I liked this chart much better than a lot of the other stuff. We got another phone call. I'm glad they've got that now. That's much better. We're going to go to Robert in Kansas. How you doing, Robert?
Hey, happy Friday. Thanks for taking my call.
Glad
Can
to.
you hear me?
Yep.
I have a general question and then a specific question, if I may.
Okay.
So my general question is, I've been listening to you, and I've got the impression that you were relatively bearish on the market, and I'm trying to square that with kind of what was kind of some comments from earlier or yesterday and today, and that was you're thinking that the market will kind of just maybe go sideways or pull back a little bit until next week and then go up. And then you were saying like the breadth index looks like we're going to turn a corner as well. So can you help me with that, kind of reconcile those two? Because it seems like if the breadth indexes are going to turn the corner, that means, or you're thinking that they're going to turn the corner in a positive way, or we're going to keep going higher, or can you share your thoughts?
No, I'm showing on my screen right now the NYSE summation index. It's turned down, and it's back to the zero line. I think we're probably going to get some kind of little bounce out of that. Let's go ahead and go to the NASDAQ one. It's kind of a mirror image of this one, but it's weaker out here. Let's see if we can do that. There we go. But we've turned down, and the 10 and 5% of that has actually been going down since the first, the first day of February. We've kind of turned that now. Doesn't mean it can't turn back up, but what I'm going to assume, or what I've seen in the past, is that you get a little bit of a bounce, you get back up into resistance, and that's where you get those double repo patterns that I like so much. And that is that you go straight up. This one isn't as much as what I was just showing in bookings, but you get 25 days above the 3x3 displaced moving average. That's kind of my definition of a parabolic move in the markets. That is that it's never really come back and retested. The SMHs have. That's because they're kind of more weaker than the rest of the market, even though they've been moving higher. So yeah, I'm thinking we 3 days we get. We get some kind of low maybe next Friday. Then we kind of try to rally in the market maybe to the first week around March. And then a failure there generally connotes a failure of March into March and April. And those tend to be the more wicked downsides in the market. So I'm not predicting that quite yet. I think that's a valid scenario that, if we continue to the move like we have, does seem more probable than anything else, but there's no confirmation on it. But what you wouldn't want to see is kind of a light volume. Well, we'll just give it all up into next Friday, and maybe we get down to 4,000 or maybe a little underneath that on the S&P cash, and the NASDAQ kind of washes out, and then you get kind of a bounce into March, and then you start seeing real wicked action. That generally connotes that wicked action will continue all the way to the first week of May, historically.
Okay.
So
I wasn't thinking about like that. So that's really helpful to share that. And so then that's kind of the broader. Can you talk to me specifically about the SMH? Do you think then that we're just gonna, we'll pull back maybe a little more, and then it's going to do the same thing, or you think it's going to behave differently than what you kind of described?
Well, the big problem with the SMHs is AMAT next Thursday. What's that going to do, right? And it's got enough pull in that it's going to be hard to say. I don't know what they're going to say. I didn't see a lot in what they're doing, but they're between Cisco and AMAT next Thursday, it's probably going to do some stuff. This hasn't really looked good. You're actually back below the last major high of December 13th. Now, you've done that without a lot of volume. And so are you probably going to get some kind of push into earnings on Applied Materials for Thursday? I would say you've got a little bit, but not a lot. And let's take a quick look at Cisco. why it's not a semi in the classic sense. It's the only thing else really going to be pushing the market. This thing really looks like it wants to come down to about 45 and base out, which would be pretty nice if it does it on light volume. You may not get there. You're what, at 46 and something now? To 47.17. So now, that's why I'm not going to make some broad prognostications on SMHs for next Friday. But I think you'll know Friday morning on which way that's going.
We just need to wait for more information, kind of to reveal itself.
There's generally a small bias to the upside for stocks going into earnings. As shorts, if they're heavy into a stock, they'll start to cover a bit. Generally, the people that want to short it will short it right before the close. They don't, there's not a lot of people. They've either been short for a long time or they shorted at the close. And that becomes the problem. So I don't know if they're, like I said, I think this can be a long, painful Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even into Thursday, since those are after the bell. And then we get into Friday, which is options expiration. So, we could have several days that are kind of like this, at least on the S&P, not so much on the NASDAQ, which is the weaker of the two. But we got no volume. We're down 2 or 3 points on the S&P volume, on the S&P cash, down a little over 100 on the NASDAQ. So slowly, I think these things, now that earnings are over, they'll try to get a correlation going again between the two. And we'll probably see that in the next 2 or 3 days, but it'll be kind of mild and it'll be very subtle. So we shall see. But yeah, I do think that we do close around 4,000 next Friday. The problem is just when that will occur. 100 points is not that much over 5 days. It'll probably come in, 6 hours. But we'll have to be patient. Okay?
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet. 877-927-6648. That's my speculation. And as the great poet warrior Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. And but that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. We'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
And with an hour and 20 minutes left in the day, it's all quiet on the Western Front. We're just now getting to 7 billion shares on the CBOE consolidated tape, which is very light. We're going to have, unless something really happens, the market's kind of saying, I think I can. Ideally for options today, if they wanted to kill off as many as they could, that would be the S&P trying to go up to about 4,100 on the cash, which, 20 points. That's probably not a big deal. The NASDAQ been hovering around a little over 100 down all day long. We'll say they got 50, 75 of that back. I wouldn't think that would be anything. It doesn't change the long term of what I see next week. I bought a lottery ticket in case we actually do that today. So that's kind of it. Anyway, 877-927-6648. And we'll look at some of these other ones. I talked about bookings.com mostly because I was assuming Expedia would do poorly, and it did yesterday. And we had the big gap down on that today. Support comes in at about $96. It may take a little bit longer to get there, but down significantly. Question, take a quick look at Disney. How low could it go? The big problem like this is the same thing with Apple, and that is how many people on Wall Street are in this. They all crowd into Apple. They all crowd into Disney. And what are they going to try? They're going to try to do, to hold us up and sell into it. Get retail investors all lathered on it. It may be, it may go down a little bit. It may be dead money for 6 months, 9 months, or a year. But we had somebody going through the earnings numbers last night in the Tiger's Den. And it's, it was a train wreck. They tried to put some lipstick on that pig.
Let's put some lipstick on this pig.
But to me, the thing's probably coming back to $100. You got supported about 96. And the biggest thing, if they get rid of 7,000 people, that'll be great. If they get rid of a lot of the creative people that have been making horrible product, that would be double great. My guess, though, is that they are beholding to the people in their creative realm that are making or want to make a lot of stuff that people don't want to see. That's why you saw the subscription numbers down, and it's going to take a bit to do it. So we shall see. I don't know just how much power the returning CEO has to start making people stuff people want to watch. And it's not that no one wants to watch it. It is they have the first reversal of how many people they had, and that is, for what they're wanting to do, tragic. They also are going to split the company into 3 different sectors. That's going to be problematic. But we shall see. I think it's at best dead money for 6-9 months, even though they continue to talk it up. I don't think there's no U-turn in this thing. It's V-turn. It's a U-turn, and that U is going to be a long time. 877-927-6648. Okay. What else do we have? We went through bookings. B to KNG. This is one I liked, but there's so many doing this that you want to keep an eye out. A lot of times you can't really take a stab at it because of earnings. This one was kind of nice, and the reason I talked about it was because Expedia's earnings, but generally you're going to get a pop down like this, and if it continues to go lower, this goes to support. But if you can get another big push, as we said, going back into maybe late this month in February, and then it fails, those are where the big failures are going to be, not the 100 point, 150 point, 200 point ranges that we're kind of into right now. Question about TSM, which we'll get to. Any other questions in the den? I did not see. Didn't see anything. Okay. We have that there. Oh, we do have a thing out here. Can you look at Docu? We'll get to that. Okay. Taiwan Semi. Again, this is where you want to not be if this starts closing below the 3x3, and you get any kind of action on it. So there may be more in the SMHs, but it may just go sideways too. But you had your move above 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 days. Went underneath it a little bit, above it, below it. And that, this is more kind of sideways action. But if you get any kind of break of the 3x3 and you get a big candle and you get volume, that suggests that this could go back to 77 or 78 bucks. Down 5 on the S&P cash, down 119 on the NASDAQ. Let's see, what else do we have out here that I thought was worth taking a look at. Let's go out here. Question on Yelp. Earnings last night, up 4%. Not a bad day. Resistance, you did give most of it back. The ideal place if you wanted to short this thing, and it does have the kind of a look of a short stock, would be at 35 bucks where that double gap is. That gap goes back to the October 17th up day, and you had 863,000 shares. And again, just the market's kind of weak, but not gutless. And we'll see in the last 30 minutes of the day, which I think has the makings of a push higher on like no volume 2. And that sets us up for next Monday. If we went up on light volume, I'd be looking to see whether or not the futures trading on Sunday night doesn't have a little bit of spike and just give it all up, and we start heading back down lower. Royal Caribbean, RCL, that we will get to. Okay. Royal Caribbean cruise is still above it. No volume there, but it's down. PayPal, PYPL. I don't see. You've gotten a bounce out of here. It didn't do much. Got a lot of volume today. Doesn't look that big. Let's see what else we have. NGL, we'll look at that.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And again, as we've said, extremely light volume. And we'll see whether or not everything goes on. I've got a little lottery ticket for the close here today. Nothing I felt brave enough to put in the newsletter 2 hours or 3 hours ago, but it could be going, so you may want to be warming up for the closeout here. My lottery ticket's on Tesla, just because of the heavy short selling in it. Daddy gets a new pair of shoes at 200, so we'll ring the bell if we hear that before the close today in the Tiger's Den. Hopefully we'll get a cheer all the way around, but that's kind of it. 94, down 94 on the Dow right now. NGL Energy is the last one someone wanted me to look at. There's something going on in energy. You got big volume. You're back through really the last part of what's going on here. Let's go back a little bit farther. That's 2 years. Let's go. Is that right? There we go. Let's see about on this. Well, 220 break through from this gap down. The gap down was back on June 7th of 2022. There was only 1.6 million shares. You got double that already. So you've got a little bit of gap at about, about 250? and then the previous highs at 274 and 280. So there may be some action in some of those penny stocks in energy. I'll have to go over them over the weekend. But that's pretty much it. We got Tom O'Brien getting ready to go here to wrap up the end of the day, and we'll see how that turns out. But that's about it. Just a quiet day with very light volume. Probably going to see more volume back half of next week, as a lot of the stuff that we've been trading on is probably going to go quiet for a handful of days. Sell when you can, not when you have to. We will return on Monday.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems